Hey everyone, I've come across a really good opportunity, I think, for writers. So if you've got a little bit of writing skill, then Listverse could be a good way for you to make a little bit of income on the side, or, if you got really good at it, I would say that there's quite a bit of work. Let's go through it. I'll take you through sort of what I've discovered and what I think about this opportunity. So what they're essentially saying is they're saying you can get paid $100 for creating an article for them. They're very specific about the types of articles that they want, and you can see some examples here by simply going to listverse.com. So we can sort of see 10 paranormal events linked to mass tragedies, or 10 wild filibusters in history, etc. They said that this is one of their more popular articles. What does it say? It's called Top 10 Gruesome Fairy Tale Origins. And so you can see that there's a little bit of a formula for how they write these articles. So you can see it starts 10. It's usually 10. I think it's always 10 by the looks of it. They start at number 10. They have, the answer to the question essentially. And then they have one or two paragraphs. So they always seem to have a paragraph or two. So if you have a look, this is just one paragraph. I'm not quite sure why they don't break the paragraphs up a bit, but that's just the way they write that. You can have a look through a few more as well. And you sort of, the trick with all this sort of stuff is looking at what it is that they expect, because they're never going to give you the $100 unless you can fulfill what it is that they actually want. And so you can see here's another one, there's 10. So you can see sort of, 3 or 4, 5 paragraphs with that one. So it's not a huge amount of writing, but it is very specific. So it's quite particular the way they want it done. So we'll go back over to this page here, and we'll just sort of go through this. I actually think this is a genius idea from Listverse. $100 is a significant amount of money for anyone. If you could get that once or twice a week, that's the difference between, where you live, or whether you've got petrol for your car, or whether you can pay for schooling for children, that sort of thing. So I think it's a significant amount of money. And I think that this is a genius move by Listverse, because they're paying a significant amount of money in order to get your attention, and a good writer's attention. Because I think what they're doing is they're using this to basically do recruitment, because a good writer will look at this and think to themselves, well, I can do that. I can get this $100. I can write like that. So it gets them, so rather than Listverse having to go out and get lots of writers and always be recruiting, because, people come and go. Some people, they get different jobs, or they move interstate, or they can't work anymore. And so there's always, when you're running an offshore team, there's always this problem of continually getting staff. And these guys, so I think this is a brilliant recruitment drive, because either way, people are going to give it a go for that $100. And I think what will happen is if you crack the key to exactly what they want, I think they would probably pay you more regularly. And we'll get someone on our team to go and investigate this, see if we can get one submitted, and we'll see if we can talk to Listverse and find out, how often people do get accepted. So they've also got, there's a link here. You'll see this author guide, this link here. So read it really well, because it's actually brilliantly written. They've put it out, they've put all the information in here that they want. And if you read this and then you read it again and read it a third time, and you really understand what it is that they want, and you sort of tick off, if you even printed it and then ticked it off and said, well, how would I do that? How would I do that? How would they do that? They've really listed it all out exactly how they want it. They even tell you the types of content that they want, mysteries, secrets, facts or misconceptions, history, dark side of man, all that sort of stuff. You can see there's a lot of dark side of man stuff. When I was looking at it, I was sort of going, oh my gosh, 10 horrific murders from high society, wow. But they step out exactly how that content works. And what it is, you can see it here, is this twist concept that they use. Ordinary mums change the world. Shockingly simple. that save lives. And these sort of things, these ordinary, shockingly, iconic, secretly baffling, gruesome, these are called power words. So when you do, when you're a content writer on the internet, you can use power words, and there's a list of them here on Sumo. You'll see here, heartwarming, guilt, hilarious, luxurious, ingredients, fantasy, forbidden. You can see how, forbidden is like a power word that could be used to create, 10 forbidden secrets that save lives. You can see how someone would go, oh, wow, what's that? And try to click on it and want to read it. Uniqueness is absolutely king. Don't ever try and trick these people. Listverse is a massively popular website. I'll show you a bit more about that in a sec. Never plagiarize other people's work. Just write uniquely and from your own voice, and they'll appreciate that as well, and you'll get more work. Because these guys are, very savvy, sophisticated online marketers. They know how to check your work to see if it's plagiarized or duplicated from somewhere else. They talk about pronouns, facts. Facts is really important. So this is a really interesting thing. You'll see in a lot of them, they start with, in September 2017 or in July 2017. They'll often start some of their content with dates like that and facts are so important because not only are facts the lifeblood of the Listverse lists, it's also incredibly important in Google. And these guys would rely a lot on Google or organic traffic from Google in order to get the volume of visitors that they need. And so Google, if you have citations, I think they've got it down here, sources, if you add your sources in and you use facts, Google loves that kind of content as well, because Google is also, of course, creating content for the Google Voice. So, everything's moving to voice. So if you can create stuff that's really fact-oriented, it gets used in Google Voice, it gets used in voice search results, and then that just helps Listverse to stay at the top of the search engine results for that sort of thing. When you see something in here, if you're not sure who Stephen Fry is or Jim Carrey, Google them and then watch like 5 YouTube videos of them. So because this is a really important part of Listverse, they've taken the time to actually write a whole section about humour, and so that's a big clue for you that if you want to use humour, the type of humour that you use is really important to them. And so in this sort of thing, don't sort of think to yourself, oh gosh, I know Stephen Fry vaguely, I've sort of heard of him. Go and watch 10 of his YouTube videos and think about the sort of humour that he's using, and then think about Jim Carrey's humour. And it's not to say that Jim Carrey's humour is not great, it's just not suitable for Listverse, for their particular model that they're trying to work on. And so again, the fact that they've gone and done a whole paragraph about that. They're very specific about some of these sorts of things, which Bible to use if you want to reference that. Profanity, very specific. Demographics is really cool. Like they talk about, that's mainly who their audience is. And you can see that they've got intelligence. So, you don't need to patronise their audience. General editorial. Usually cleared up if you do 2 revisions before sending it in. There's things in here that, and then this thing here, like we do this ourselves with our own writers when we were getting a lot of writing done, when we were sort of outsourcing some of it. We would write a document like this and say, here's the guidelines. And if the writer can't be bothered spell checking, we just reject it. Because we think to ourselves, well, that's not the sort of person we want a really long-term relationship with. Imagine if we had a long-term relationship with this writer for 3 years and every single time we had to spell check their work. That would drive us completely mental. It would drive us crazy. So they put this kind of stuff in to see if you're a detailed-oriented person who will actually follow their instructions. So, follow their instructions, and then you'll have a better chance of getting this sort of thing through. Because I think they are a good opportunity for writers. This is their Ahrefs rank, which is 15,000. So they're ranked really, really high in the internet universe. They get a lot of traffic. You can see here that they've got 33,000 other websites that link to them. Ahrefs is guessing that they have 1 million visitors a month. You can see that they have more and more people linking to them all the time, so they're not sort of declining in popularity, although some of their rank goes down a little bit. But this is all a little bit of guesswork on the part of this tool, but when we use the same guesswork to compare with different sites, it gives us a little bit of a measure. But the fact that they rank so high, they're probably getting a lot of traffic. They're probably making a fair bit of money from advertising and from affiliate links. And so they've got the money. So $100 to them to uncover a new writer who might work for them for 3 years is a massive thing. It's a fantastic strategy that they've actually used. I think the first thing, though, one of the first things for you to get your work submitted and to get their attention will be to learn how to write headlines. And what I'll do is we've actually got this in our own knowledge base, but I'll turn it into a PDF for everyone. But it shows we call it the art of the headline, and it shows how to write, the lazy teacher's way to get higher maths grades or something. We've got all of this sort of stuff, so I'll turn it into a PDF for you so you can have a look. But so in summary, I think it's a really good opportunity. I think if you follow the rules, I think if you learn how to write headlines really well, you'll get their attention really quickly. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk to you about was I'll just give you a quick peek into their organic keywords, and this can give you, because what you want is you just want to get that very first submission. You want to get noticed by the editor, and once you've been noticed by the editor, then you can start to branch out and do other stuff. But you can see here that the majority of volume that they rank for are things like Pablo Escobar, Jurassic Park, Sacha Baron Cohen. You can see these URLs over here, 10 outrageous facts about Pablo Escobar. So the keyword Pablo Escobar, sorry, I beg your pardon, has quite a bit of volume in the search engines, like lots of people are searching for that keyword phrase. And these guys are in 35th position, according to Ahrefs, for that keyword. And so, maybe you can 10 secret thoughts, Pablo Escobar's, blah, 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 something like that. So you can sometimes, give them a little bit more on a keyword that is very popular. And then that will attract their attention. The other thing is that the actual traffic that they do already get, obviously Listverse, they get a bit of traffic for the Church of Almighty God, Mary Bell, I'm not sure who that is, 11-year-old serial killer, Cures for the Black Death. So this is stuff that they already get traffic for, so you can do a little bit more for that. And so these are just sort of keyword ideas to work out, what you could initially write about to get the attention of that very first editor who's going to either let you through and give you that $100, and then you get a little tick against your name and they go, well, we've accepted that writer, let's see what they do again. And then it's a repetitive thing, so that once you've got that formula, once you know how to write for that formula, you'll be able to keep writing, and that $100 I think would really be a really easy, interesting way of doing it, and they seem like a really great company. Hope that helps. Let me know how you go. So if you do this, let me know how you go, because we'll add it into the blog post to help everyone else understand whether it works or not. Bye.